In this statutory world of ours, everything must be understood, quantified, designated, and pigeonholed. It is a quest for certainty that we live by today, and no longer a joyful place of mystery and sanctity. The privilege of that blessing is gone, dissipated in the tidal wave of scientific enthusiasm that raptured our society over 100 years ago. The option for the two lifestyles to conjoin was never considered, and in the rush for knowledgeable advancement, the most important part of our progression was forgotten and disparaged. But the quest was born of our own souls. Those souls now drip slowly down a glass patio door, ever so gradually conjoining with their brothers that battered the reflective surface of conformative science before them. The rain of unwielding linear philosophy continued to beat at young minds. Some it crashed into, breaking down upon the walls of innocence like an unrelenting tidal wave of theological entrapment, sealing new generations of life into a predeterminism that the arrogance of the father had already mapped out. The tapping of the patio door strove on, unabating. As I gradually shifted slightly nervously in my threadbare maroon-coloured armchair, my fear was at one point that the newly formed droplets of hail were going to shatter the patio door to our part playroom. The room itself belonged to my brothers and me. At least we felt it did. The aforementioned armchair belonged to me. After all, I bagged it at first. Scan 1. Complete. Analysis of early life of prolific author and social commentator Richard Perry Baxter, subcategory The One Lone Blogger, is apparent. Is there anything else you require, sub-strategist Harcourt? Harcourt rubbed his chin in thought at the large hologrammatic screen before him, his light blue tunic crinkling slightly as he folded his arms around a lithe body. He pondered. He obviously liked his rhetoric to relate to his child experiences somewhat. He reached across to take up a food supplement pill from the work tuck in front of his swivel chair that stood on a rostrum in an otherwise empty and sterile room. How very pretentious these pre-virus surge academics are. Sub-strategist Harcourt Quarry tapped an intercom tab on the wrist of his tunic. Report, came the terse tone. I found as much material as the subject wrote, sir, but no actual life experience, so to speak. Alright, sub-strategist, keep trying, came the response. Try and look at the material covering his likes and hobbies. That might give us some insight into his motivations for his actions in the revolution that led up to the surge. Harcourt nodded in agreement. Yeah, he rubbed his hands with glee. Then once we've understood his psychology, you can send a deadly killer mechanoid back in time to find him and kill him before that happens. I love that part. He smiled. Harcourt out. Mainframe. The strategist looked up at the ether and into the blank wall, addressing the unseen computer of the Worldwide Unification Space Station. WUS, for short. Show me the entries alluding to descriptions of the One Lone Blogger's recreational activities. Loading articles relating to requested category. The angelic android voice chimed. First article found. Holy Neon Lighting Maximus, dated 2010. Do you want me to play a recitation of this piece? No, the commander screamed in desperation, not to have to listen to another piece of anarchistic rhetoric and pollute his ears. Just give me a rundown of the content this article provides and its background. This literary source material consists of many ancient recreational practices. Recreation is now forbidden by the laws, as is knowledge of it. Do you wish me to continue, sub-strategist? Just give me the bare bones of all of it then, you tarty machine, He waved a disparaging hand at the computer's general direction. "Oh, sir, no one has ever referred to me in such a way before. Do it again, please." "Just get on with it." Harcourt slumped back in his chair. "Scanning." The strategist picked distractedly at his fingernails while the computer swept through the available videos and other data of his chosen topic. "One match found. Consistent with selected parameters. Do you require me to display the Betamax video recording on the main monitor?" Harcourt frowned and crinkled his brow, sitting up to attention in his chair. "Betamax? What the hell's that?" He shook his head. "Never mind, just feed it through, will you?" Sitting back against the swivel chair at his plush mahogany desk, the official watched the large blank space before him lit up in 3D display, playing the last remnants of a forgotten occupation. He casually relaxed and opened a pack of Doritos, throwing to one side when the realization struck that they were the cheesy ones. He reached for his cola instead. "Playback initiated," mainframe intoned.
Как-нибудь, не знаю, где. Вот нога. Бери за другую ногу.
The official watched as he was subjected to a fatuous feed of dubious quality and vintage. He was astounded that this was all the pathetic research computer could come up with. "That's the footage you found from this one lone blogger scripter?" Harcourt was astounded at the lack of material. "Displayed data comprises of a small percentage of related material." Quarry was singularly unimpressed. "Doesn't tell much about this Richard Baxter's cycling recreation, though, does it?" "The data comprises of the incident indicative of the way in which cyclists were viewed during the pre-virus time period. Despite the evident legal stipulations that provided the majority with the equal rights to other road users, automotive vehicle drivers were increasingly arrogant and self-righteous towards cyclists." That information doesn't help my present workload, though, does it, you stupid machine? "Do you wish playback on the rest?" Harcourt sighed. It had been a long night of research for him. Several other censorship cases had presented themselves on his duty roster that night shift, and he hadn't had the patience to keep his eyes open for this one. It looked like it might be an interesting file on closer inspection, though. "No, thanks, mainframe." He got up quietly. "I'm going to my cubicle now to see the missus." He casually looked back before waving in the air and saying, "Click," out loud to turn off the lights. "Open a case load and file it on a loan for me, though." Confirmed. Case load structuralized. The strategist strolled out of the illuminated doorway before he slid silently behind him. In the silence that now seeped into the dull grey room, computer banks continued to blip and cheep, a working constant that echoes throughout the now stagnant atmosphere of the post-emoticon age, a classification wrought by New Age sociologists to come after the postmodern age. Breaking this silence, mainframe piped up in the dark background, scanning leftover sources that weren't covered during her interview with Harcourt. Information addendum. New research data acquired. Scanning for future presentation. The patio doors continued to bleat and strain under the constant onslaught of the rain. As the tidal waves subsided, I flicked the channels on the TV before me and sat down grudgingly with my tea again. It had gone cold now. I mused at an early age that mystery and sanctity weren't close behind.